And it would be nice if you would just like, you want me to help you fold that laundry? But nope, you would sit there and play on your phone or masturbate while you're watching Bob's Burgers or whatever the case may be.
I did not sit there and masturbate while watching cartoons while you're folding laundry. That didn't happen.
I have proof.
If I was masturbating while you were doing chores, you would come over. Like
That's true. I'd be like, this laundry can wait.
Correct.
You need help with that? And that would be all the time, even like in every relationship I've ever been in.
Okay, well, what's the second thing?
It's recording.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to Raw and Unsolicited with me, Andrew.
And me, Ryan.
We're going to do our own little jingle in the beginning.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do a jingle. That's not
Why?
Like,
It's like the news.
No, it was like... It reminded me of Mission Impossible. The news? Okay. This just in. Breaking news. So what are we going to give people advice on today?
Today, we are going to give advice just like our, what's it called? Our
podcast?
motto? No, what's it called?
Tagline?
Our tagline says, what is it?
Ex-husbands giving advice that they have zero business giving.
Zero business giving. Correct.
So you're going to give advice on a relationship?
Today, we're going to give advice on how to be in a healthy relationship.
I mean, I think we both know how. It's just, why couldn't we maintain it? So now we can give advice on what
Okay, first off, we both can't because you are a toxic individual.
Bitch.
I can.
Nice to meet you. No, you cannot. You are just as toxic. We're here together, my friend. You are just as toxic as I am.
Well, let's dive right in. Let's give some advice on how to be in a healthy relationship.
So I think a healthy relationship initially starts with communications.
Go figure.
Your energy drink has kicked in already, and you're going to be exhausting.
Great.
Okay.
Love it.
Can you have a water?
I had some water. No. Oh, yeah. I have to deal with your drunk ass, but you can't deal with my energy to ass?
No, I don't
relax.
I don't do well with people that are like high energy, that like come in real hot.
You don't do well.
I don't, because my one boss does like this like screaming thing where he like walks into the room like really hype and like excited, and like I just like fell inwards. It literally makes me cringe. I can't do high energy. I don't know why, but I'm high energy, so I don't get it. Maybe I'm faking my energy.
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, back to relationship.
So,
what makes you think you know what a healthy relationship is?
Well, I think that let's be honest. Like, you and I were in a 10-year relationship. And although there were toxic moments that we've discussed on this podcast before, and there's bad in every relationship,
Absolutely.
Right? I think deep down at the heart of it, it was a healthy relationship.
That's why it lasted 10 years.
Right.
When you say, yeah.
So besides communication, what are some things that you think go into a healthy relationship?
Sex.
Okay.
I think sex is super important.
Okay.
To me, anyway. When maybe it wasn't for everybody else. You need to be able to do things together and separately. Like, you need to have your own life. I don't think you and I necessarily had enough time away from each other, honestly, is what our issue might have been. So you need to like give each other like time for girls to go be with girls and boys to be, because like we even shared our fucking bachelor party together, which was your want. I wanted to be like on my own, sucking all the dicks right before I sucked the final dick of my life. Right?
Clearly not the final dick of your life, because there's been hundreds.
That's disgusting. It's not that many. Also, why do I talk about sucking dick so much?
Because it's your passion.
I really am very passionate. One of my straight friends, I think I've said this on the podcast before, said he wishes girls were as enthusiastic about dick as I was. And I think that's key. Women need to suck more dick.
I think a lot of women do. I think that they're just like closeted freaks. Like, they just don't talk about it.
And I don't know. A lot of women I've talked to are like, I don't do that. I'm like, why not? That's probably why your relationship's not going to last. Or you're lying to my face.
I mean, I've also talked to a couple guys that were like, I don't really love sucking dick. And I'm like, bye.
You used to be like that. You don't like to do it, do you?
Oh, no, I don't like to do it.
Yeah.
But I like to get it.
Well, yeah.
I went on this date with a guy the other day, and he was like, one of my favorite things in life is sucking dick. And I was like, perfect, because one of my favorite things in life is getting my dick sucked.
There you go.
I
Perfect.
said, we're perfect together.
Yep.
He said, that's a red flag.
Why?
Because I said, we're perfect together on our first date.
Well,
I don't know.
Called you out. That's good. I mean, everybody's one big red flag.
I mean, I have lots of red flags. But back to the healthy relationship.
With all your red flags, tell me about your healthy relationship.
I think that a relationship needs to be built on like a healthy foundation. I think that it's the big things that you have to make sure are strong and deep rooted first. And I think that some of these might change a little bit with each person depending on, what's really important to you. So for you, sex, like you said, is very important in a relationship. That might not be true for everybody. I think it's true. I think a healthy sex life is very important. I think sex is very important. But it might not be sex for everyone. It might be intimacy. It might be, different pieces of it.
Isn't intimacy different for everybody also, though?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like your definition of intimacy is sexual relations, where somebody else's definition of intimacy might just be cuddling, might just be physical touch, might just be kissing and hugging. And, just like in our gay culture right now, like this whole side business is like a new thing, even though it's not. It's always been around, but the verbiage
now
of being a side, right, is more clear. Like where before it was always like, who's the top, who's the bottom. Now, for our listeners who might not know what the side means, the side is we don't necessarily have to penetrate one another. We can give each other head. We can, mutual masturbate. We can kiss. Like it doesn't have to be anything more than that, right?
Why does everything have to have a title, though? Why do we literally have to give everything?
I mean, so I don't know. Like, I agree with that. Like, I agree with the sense of like, why do we have to label everything? Everything doesn't have to have a label. I do, but when it comes to like language in general, you kind of have to have a word for it. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to define it. Because if there's something out there that's just like, blah, 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 like it has to have a word. You know what I mean?
Can't it just be out there going, la, 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 la? Why does it?
Because how do you?
What are you guys doing now? We're just little right?
No, like
mind your business. What we're doing.
Everything has to have like a word. Like it has to have something. Like when you think about just language in general, when you think about like the definitions of things, like when new diseases come out or like when we discover a new type of plant or a planet or an animal or something like that, like it actually has to be given a scientific term, right?
I mean, yes, like whatever. I just think it's
anyway.
Exactly. What does this have to
do? We always get sidetracked. But I think a healthy foundation of a relationship. So for me, I think the thing that is most important is like mutual respect. And it is understanding each person, understanding what makes them tick. It's, building that foundation. You know what I mean? Like,
I think a key part of a foundation is friendship too. I think you really have to become friends in order to build on that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that happens a lot of the time in relationships because people are just like, oh, we're dating. Oh, now we're together. Like
right.
you didn't date long enough to give yourself a chance to really know that person head to toe.
Right. I mean, so I don't know. Like I definitely agree with that. However, you know me, I'm always let me play the other end. Let me be the devil's advocate. I think sometimes you can be like, listen, like I like you, you like me. Let's build this together, but let's be dating. Like let's actually be exclusive and monogamous and whatever the case may be. Like you can define something and still get to know them. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's a bad thing to be like, all right, let's be boyfriends, like, and now we're boyfriends and now we're continuing to get to know one another.
Yeah.
I think sometimes there's I think that there's this like negative image or this negative thought process behind it of like, oh, I can't jump into a relationship right away because I don't know them. But like, if you're not in that relationship, quote unquote, now there's all these uncertainties that are spinning around and making the overthinker of the relationship overthink everything. Well, he doesn't want to be in a relationship with me, so he must be talking to other people and he must be doing this. And, you know, he's probably lying to me about this and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, but the second you get that, like, reassurance of like, let's be in a relationship, then all of that just kind of falls to the ground.
Does it though?
For some people it does. For some people it doesn't. It depends on how high your walls are built. It depends on, you know, how guarded you are, what you've been through in your past, everything along those lines that is preventing you from doing that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think that it's a bad thing to put a label on the relationship or define the relationship early on just because you don't know whether or not it'll work out. People get married and it doesn't work out. So why are you afraid to just put yourself out there? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Why are you?
Me?
I'm just kidding. I don't think a lot of people know or love themselves enough to even be in relationships.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people need to like self-reflect and not jump from relationship to relationship or get back into the same toxic relationship before they know who they are. Like, you have to learn something from everything you're doing in life. And I think a lot of people are just out here settling.
But what the lesson is that needs to be learned can't be on somebody else's time. So you're out here saying, you can see from the outside, like, why didn't you learn your lesson yet? Like, why are you still doing that? They haven't learned their lesson yet.
And that's why they're going to keep doing the same thing over
and
over.
let them keep doing the same thing over and over again until they learn their lesson.
That's exhausting as an outsider. And I'm sure people are watching me do the same thing and being like, bitch, when are you going to learn?
Yep.
But shut up. I also saw this thing today. It was, we're out here single or we're sharing someone. There's nothing in between. And I was like, that's not wrong at all. If you think about, like, everybody wants to share now and like be open. I will never understand that for myself. I appreciate people that can do that. I'm not there. I don't get it.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of us that are out there sharing somebody and don't even know that we're sharing somebody.
Sadly.
Because we haven't, you know, had an exclusivity talk or we haven't, you know, put a label on it.
How soon should you have that talk? How soon should, like, I think it's just based off of feelings. When you're feeling like this is it, you should be like, hey.
Yeah.
What's that conversation? Do you want to be exclusive? Do you want to be my boyfriend? Do you want to date? Like, what do you say?
I mean, I think it depends. It depends on, you know, where you're at with it. So, you know, I was talking to somebody, this was like about a year ago at this point. No, it wasn't that long ago. Anyway, it was last year.
Doesn't matter. You were talking to someone.
And we were talking for maybe a month and a half. And he said his verbiage was, I want to concentrate my time on just you. I want to delete all the dating apps. I want to, you know, just concentrate my time on you. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
And then he said it again. And I was like, well, are you asking me something? And he's like, no, I'm not asking you anything. And I'm like, well, it sounds like you're asking me something.
No, he was making a statement. I think maybe he wanted you to ask it.
And he's like, I was like, do you want me to do the same? And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, I would like that, but like, I'm not asking you to do that. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. Like,
Andrew.
I'm not there.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, I get it. I think a lot of people just say yes because they're like, all right, this is like, it's a comfort thing. Like, now they don't have to keep dating or
right.
So I think it's big that you're like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Right. Like, we weren't dating long enough for me to be like, I'm all in on this. Like, I really want to see where this is going. Like, there were a lot of red flags. There were a lot of things where it was like, and in hindsight, I probably should have just stopped talking to the individual in general.
But you give people too many chances all the time.
But I gave, you know, an opportunity for whatever, and that backfired.
Do you think that ultimately is why it didn't work out? Because you didn't say yes initially, so he like started to spiral maybe?
No, it didn't work out because like him and I just weren't compatible. Like it wasn't ever going to work
How
out.
much time did you? Now I don't want to say waste, but how long was that lesson that you learned? That's what we're gonna call these things. How long was that lesson that you learned?
It was a while.
Oh,
it was a
okay.
while. It was a good like 7-8 months, but it was 7-8 months of like, it wasn't like I was focusing all of my time and energy on
Yeah.
him.
Did you learn anything from it?
Oh, I learned a lot.
Good. That's all that matters, as long as you're learning and applying it to the next one.
But I mean, there's definitely people that like, there's definitely situations that I can envision for myself where it's like I could go on 1 date or 2 dates and be like, okay, like I really genuinely like this person. Like there's definitely a connection. We vibe well together. Energy's great. Like I could focus my time and energy on that person.
So how soon do you talk? Like, is there like, nothing really has a timeline. You just go off of your feelings. That's
Right.
what everybody should do. Do you think there's like, you're texting and talking too long? If you're like, let's just get this date out of the way. Like, how quickly do you go on a first date?
I am totally open to like going on a date right away. Like I find it to be exhausting sometimes to sit there and just like text back and forth and, you know, whatever. Like that's kind of exhausting. And let's be honest, kind of a waste of time if when you meet, you're like, ugh, like for whatever reason.
So I'm the same way. I want to get it out of the way right away. I want to know, but I'm also so fucking busy.
Correct.
And people are like, I'm not going to keep chasing you. It's not that I want you to chase me. I want you to just be patient.
Right.
I will, when I find the time, I will reach out to you. I will text you here and there when I have time. Like,
Right. Exactly.
if I'm texting you, I'm trying.
But so I will agree to that to an extent because I totally agree and I've been there and I've definitely, but at the same time, like there's a point where you make time.
So
You know
do
what I
think-
mean?
Do you
Like
think I
if you're
wasn't into it, so I wasn't making the time?
yes.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, yes. But I mean, is there things like maybe the other person works overnight and you work during the day and there's literally like an hour of time that you're not working at the same time that you can actually see each other? Like situations like that, sure. You know, maybe like I was just talking to somebody and he was like, oh, like, let's meet up. And I was like, oh, like, when are you free? And he was like, oh, like, you know, I'm really busy this weekend and like the next couple days, whatever. And I was like, well, I leave for vacation on Wednesday and then I'm going to be gone for a week. So like maybe when I get back. And he was like, well, he's like, well, when you get back, I leave for vacation. So like there are certain circumstances like that where you're not in the same state. You know, it's not easy. Like I get that.
So do you try to force the date even quicker than before you leave for vacation? Like, do you just make time?
No, but maybe. It depends. It depends.
Yeah. I remember, so you were talking about like, what did your last guy like just said, I want to focus my time on you?
Yeah.
Mine was more of like a feeling because like we were just sitting on the couch and he was like looking at me and I looked at him and I was just like, yes. So mine was more of like I knew what you were about to ask me and he didn't even say it. And he's like, really? And I was like, yes. So I think that's even more fun when you don't have to talk.
Well, yeah.
You just felt it and I was like, yep, let's do this.
Right.
But-
But like, here's the thing too, is like, you might be with somebody for years and it end and it not be right and whatever, and something that you were working so hard on for so long. And then you meet somebody and you literally fall in love instantaneous. Maybe not instantaneous, but like quickly, like days. And then you fall into something. Like, I mean, there are people out there that were in, like my friend's mom, for instance, like she was in a like 10-year relationship with this guy and they were together for so long and, you know, ups and downs and blah, 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 whatever. They finally break up. She goes on a date like a month later or so. She's dating this guy for like 2 weeks. They move in together. He proposes.
That's so
Like
fast.
they've
That's
been
scary.
together for like 20 years now. Like things can happen quickly. Like
Yeah.
if it's the right person. You know what I mean? Like, I think some of us are out there like trying so hard to make something work for one reason or another, but we're missing the signs and like we're not feeling what we need to feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I think we're just all so distracted with trying to just live our day-to-day life. We're too busy. We should not have to work as hard as we all are working.
In
I want
work
more
or in a
time
relationship?
in life. I don't want to work this hard. I want to be able to relax. Shouldn't have to work.
Okay.
Because if I didn't work, I'd have more time to date. I'm just kidding.
You'd have more time to suck dick?
And that's not what I'm about. If that's all I was about, I would have some sort of disease. Don't you think? That's not what I'm about. I enjoy it. What are you, a fucking Muppet now? Fucking beaker. Whatever.
Meep, meep.
I don't know. I really need to just talk about something other than sucking dick, and I'm sure all the listeners will agree.
I also think that a lot of the listeners love hearing you talk about sucking dick.
Well, then some of them should let me suck their dick. Someone gave me feedback from the event. They were like, if somebody was doing shots for every time you mentioned sucking dick, they would be trashed. I was like, and then I listened back to the episode. I was like, oh my God, that's literally all they talked about. That is mortifying. And you were just like my hype man. You literally just giggled for like an hour and like, were like hyping. You were like gassing me up. It was insane. You were trashed. You don't remember what you said, right?
Yeah.
Which is, anyway,
let's get back to the topic of this episode.
I really do think friendship is part of the foundation of a healthy relationship.
So I think communication, I think mutual respect, I think honesty, trust, I think all of that, like that is like the foundation, honestly. Like those are the core values.
What
of
do you
a
think
relationship.
is the biggest things that ruin relationships?
Dishonesty, lack of trust.
But where does all that come from? Like, why? It doesn't just happen.
I mean, it comes from either something that happened in the current relationship, in a past relationship, childhood trauma. There's lots of reasons that happens. Like, why are you a guarded individual? Like, why are your walls up?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't really think my walls are up, honestly.
The fuck they're not.
Are they? I think
Yes.
I'm very open and honest and transparent and
Okay, but if somebody came up to you and was like, I'm in love with you and I want to be with you, you'd be like, hold up,
I would
stop
say,
for a
I don't
second.
blame you, honestly. I would say I don't blame you. Thank you for the feedback. I'm not there yet.
And that's what there you go.
But
I'm not there yet. Yes, I'm not there yet. That means you are guarded.
No, I want to focus on myself. I want to just be all about myself. I'm a very selfish individual
Okay. And why are you focusing on yourself?
because I need to.
Why?
I'm the number one.
Because of things that you've been through.
No,
Yeah.
because I want to.
Okay.
That's why this podcast is all about me.
Clearly.
Just kidding. What were we just saying now?
Guarded.
I think,
You're guarded.
no, I mean, yes, that is what we were just saying, but the reasons relationships don't work, I think it's lack of sex often.
Hmm.
Money is like a big stressor in a lot of relationships.
Well,
Money is one of the only things that really stresses
They say that
me
there's
out.
the three biggest reasons that people argue in a relationship and break up: sex, money, kids. Those are the three biggest things that there's a disagreement about.
I mean, once you have kids, you spend so much money and then you have no sex because the kids are always around. So listen up. Don't have kids. Don't have kids. You won't spend so much money on them for 18 years.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to bang as often and anywhere you want in your house because the kids won't be there. You know?
Sure.
I was at the eat the other day with my friends and they were like, well, now that the kids are getting older, like we're like focusing on ourselves. I was like, I love that for you because the kids, like you've nurtured them. You've given them the time that they needed. You've helped them find who they are. But now they're at that age where you're like, fly.
Right.
So now they're just going to start banging each other's brains out, hopefully. I want that for you guys. I know you're listening. I also am really trying to get better at not saying people's names in the podcast,
That's good.
even if it's our friends and family.
I think some people, like, I've gotten feedback before, like, I want to know who it is. Like, can you please say their name? And I'm like, no, like, I'm not putting other people's, like, business out there.
Yeah, then it's just gonna make John's job harder. He's gonna have to. I just said his fucking name. It's gonna make his job harder because now he has to edit people's names out, things like that. I wanted to edit a name out of the BGE event, like the live episode, but I was like, no, I said it is what it is. Because I don't want drama. I don't want people to bother me. Just let me sit on my little podcast pedestal and you just listen and enjoy me and laugh. I don't want your drama.
Got it.
Because you know there's going to be drama from it. Someone could like, guess what Ryan said? Guess what? And I'll happily have that conversation. Let's just keep it open.
Anyway, back to the topic of this episode. What else you got to say on the topic? What else is important in a healthy relationship?
That's pretty much it.
No, there's so much more.
There really is.
So I saw this thing the one time, like some therapist said. I follow a lot of therapists on Instagram.
Yeah, because you won't go to therapy. So you
I
think
do
like
go to therapy, and I have gone to therapy.
You do? Right now, you're going to therapy.
I mean, I haven't in a while.
Exactly.
But
so you have gone before.
I have multiple therapists that I could be like, can we have a session?
You have that many therapists?
Yeah, because I didn't like any of them.
Why did none of them work out? So maybe
they did work out. I learned a lot from the therapists that I did go to. I just got what I needed from them. Also, I didn't want to pay for it.
You have a lot of anger in your eyes right now.
Anyway, so they said something about like you need to make sure that you make time for your relationship. So it's so often that we fall into this routine. We fall into a routine of, we kiss each other goodbye in the morning and then, we don't talk all day. And then, we come home and we make dinner and we watch TV and then we go to sleep. Like there's like a lack of, like once you're comfortable in a relationship, there's that lack of trying anymore, right?
Yeah.
You get so used to just the everyday routine piece of it that like you don't make time for each other. You don't, how far does a text message in the middle of the day go? Like, I'm thinking of you, babe. Love you. Kiss. Something like that. That goes a long way, but like we don't think about that. We don't think about that. When
Send me a picture of the dogs.
Whatever.
I don't care.
So anyway, this therapist said that it's like the 2-2-2 rule, and I'm probably getting this completely wrong, but like every 2 weeks you spend like one full day together where it's like a date night or something, like where you set the time out and you put it on the schedule or you put it on the calendar. Like this literally has to be like scheduled out. Every 2 months you do like a weekend trip. Every 2 years you take like a full vacation, like where it's just the two of you.
I think it was 2 days, 2 months.
Every 2 days? No, it wasn't.
I really think it was. But why not do it every 2 days? Why not do something every 2 days?
Because let's be honest, like when you have a career and children and stuff like that, that's not realistic. Every 2 days, like that's not realistic.
I don't know.
I think that it's like, that's a great starting point. I think that that's a great starting point. But like, if you can make it work, do it more often. For me, going on a week's vacation, I'm not waiting 2 years for that. Exactly. Like, that's too long for me. But when you think about like people's finances and they have children and they have other things and stuff like that are getting in the way.
See, children ruin things. Children are money suckers.
But maybe you are taking a family vacation every so often, but you're not going on a couples, just the two of us vacation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, if you don't have kids, maybe you do it more often. Maybe it's, every 6 months you go on a week's vacation where you just focus on each other. I have a friend of mine that had said to me before, like, one of the things that, like, she feels made her relationship better was having those vacations with her partner. like being together and just the two of them, like taken out of their routine, taking out of friends and family and nobody else around, like just concentrating on just the two of us. Like no pets, no errands, no keeping up with the housework, like nothing to interfere. Like you are literally taken out of your environment, you're put into another environment. It makes a big difference. You don't realize it, but it does.
I don't know. I've always loved vacations. I've always been great at going on vacations. So I think people should do it as often as possible, especially if you can do it with just your partner.
I will say though, and maybe this shows that we were more toxic.
God.
Do you remember me saying before, like I don't like just the two of us going. Like I want other people there. Like I always thought that we got along better when there were other people. Do you remember me saying that?
I do remember you saying that. But that's what made us toxic?
I don't know. Like,
didn't spend alone time?
I mean, I literally just said why it's important to just be the two and like spend time together and blah, 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 blah.
I think you always just hated me.
I mean, that is true. It hasn't changed.
Shut the fuck up.
But I don't know. Maybe that was a red flag. I mean, in hindsight, I see lots of red flags in our relationship, but that's not this conversation. Yep, it was me.
See, I'm glad you admitted it. Thank you, Taylor Swift. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. That's where I was going with that.
Got it.
I do need a vacation though.
I mean, I go on vacation and like
you go on vacation every month.
I mean, I do. Yes.
So shut up.
Listeners out there that are my friends, who wants to go on vacation with me in August? Because I have this time and I need to go in August and nobody wants to go with me anywhere. Should I just go by myself?
Yes, 100%. I love vacations by myself.
I was literally going to book a trip yesterday by myself. But like, I don't know, like, I think that I'm nervous about it because like I'm not like a people person. Like I'm not going to go out there and just like
you don't
talk
have to
people.
Sit in a hot tub, sit at the bar, grab a drink, like go. But you don't have to talk to nobody.
What am I going to do?
What did you do in Hawaii when you were by yourself?
I was there for a day. One day. I couldn't imagine a full week. What would I do for a full week?
Do a long weekend. Don't do like 3-4 days. You don't could do a whole week.
And what am I going to do?
What did you do that day?
I went to the beach. I went shopping. I had to get a bunch of souvenirs for people because people were like, well, if you're in Hawaii, can you get me this? I had shaved ice. I had an acai bowl.
See,
I had,
that sounds wonderful.
Fruit.
There's no one else to like worry about getting them ready. Like you can literally get your shower and go.
Yeah.
And just come home and relax.
I masturbated.
You're gonna say that.
On the porch of the hotel outside.
On the balcony off onto someone. Like
no, I went back inside and did it on the window.
Jesus Christ. That's such a weird. Is that a kink?
Sure.
I love to come on glass. There's people that like to come on mirrors too. Is that a healthy relationship, coming on mirrors?
A healthy relationship with yourself? I don't. Yeah. What?
I think that beside from friendship, a healthy relationship with yourself is most important to being in a healthy relationship. I would stick with that. I already said that, and I will say it again and again.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have respect for yourself in order for the expectation for other people to respect you. Yeah. So that goes for a relationship. Like if you don't respect yourself, you will allow other people to disrespect you.
There's so many people I watch and I'm like, oh, why are you talking about yourself like that? Why are you talking about yourself? I don't get it. Like people are really just always putting themselves down. And I'm like, You're just setting yourself up for failure. You're going to end up in a bad relationship or back in the same relationship. It makes me sad for people. You should be confident and beautiful and funny and perfect like me. I mean, even some of my confidence is fake, but like, I love myself to death.
Yeah, sure. Wonderful.
You don't agree?
Lovely.
I'm incredible.
Whatever you say. I love that you think that you're incredible.
How do you love yourself?
I love myself very much.
Okay.
Do you not agree with that?
Sometimes I do.
I mean, I think that we all have those things that we don't like about ourselves. We all have like self-esteem issues, like, self-conscious about certain things about us. Absolutely.
But I think it's because we're always comparing ourselves with someone fucking else.
I
A
mean,
lot of the time.
some of that, yes. But like, I also think that there's a certain level of it that is healthy. We always want to better ourselves, right? Like, and if you stop wanting to better yourself, so whether that's, oh, like I'm out of shape, I want to get healthy, I want to work out, I want to, make my body look good, something like that. That's not a bad thing, right?
I agree, but a lot of people don't even try to do that for themselves.
But when you're like out there going to the gym every day and you're like, oh, I'm so ugly, I'm so fat, like, are you healthy? Then you're good. Like, you don't have to fit somebody else's image. Like, you look good, like, you look amazing.
But they don't feel that way.
And that's where that level is. That's what I'm saying. Or like, if you're like, oh, like, I feel like I'm not that smart. I'm not that educated. Like, I should read more. I should, go back to school, things like that. Like, that's healthy. You know what I mean? But if you're out here like, I'm stupid, like, nobody's going to love me because I'm dumb, like, that's not healthy. You know what I mean?
I really hope people are not out there feeling like that.
But people are.
That's sad.
Like, there are a lot of people out there that's like, woe is me. Like, I am ugly. I'm stupid. Like, why would somebody want to be with me? Like,
they're not going to because you feel like that.
I mean,
you are not carrying
yes, no, maybe.
You're not carrying any kind of light that's going to draw someone towards you when you're like, ugh. Am I wrong? Like, if you just walk around like, bleh, no one's gonna be like, oh, that's nice. I really want to hang out with that blob.
Right.
That Debbie Downer looks beautiful. No, I'm good. You need to have like a confidence and like this, what is it, air? Is that the word?
Vibration.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. If your energy is up, I'm like, I can feel you come into a room like I am all the way good on that person.
Mm-hmm.
Like from a mile away, I'll be like, no. People walk into my job and I'm like, You're coming at me all wrong, sir.
Is it sometimes like, I feel like people think that about me sometimes, but only because like I have like a total like resting bitch face.
I think 99% of the world has a resting bitch face.
No, that's not true. But like, do you think that that's the case or no? Like, you really feel their energy and it's not just like the way that they're looking when they walk in.
No, because I have that, but like I have like a light about me that when I walk into a room, you can notice me. Like, like that Bejeweled song by Taylor Swift? That's me. When I walk into the room, I can make the whole place shimmer, but my face looks like I don't want to be there at all. You don't have that. You just look miserable, and then you are miserable.
Am I though?
No, I'm just kidding. You're not. A lot of people think a lot of people do misunderstand you. Yes,
that's 100%. What I'm saying.
Yes.
But I vibrate high. I have really great energy.
But a lot of people don't know how to read that or understand that.
That's why I'm asking you these questions.
Yeah, you're going to die alone. Is that a question?
So if I walked into a room and you didn't know me, if I walked into the room, would you think what you just said? Like, no, thank you. Like,
it's hard to kind of separate it because I know you. So I don't think that I could answer that.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Okay, so don't think about me. Think about the people that you're describing right now, the people that you're actually giving an example of. These people walking in. Do you think that it truly is them deep down? They're miserable people, or do you think that it's just the way that they present themselves?
No, it's my job to still talk to them, and
you've never been surprised by like that person looks absolutely miserable, and then you go over and you're like, "Welcome, thank you," and they're like, "Oh, everything was great, thank you." Like,
nothing is great until they eat. Usually everybody's hangry.
Okay. You're not answering my fucking question though.
No, I'm a good read of person. Are you? I am.
Are you? Because I'm pretty sure that there's been multiple times where you're like, ah, and I was like, no. And you're like, you're right. Like, I'm a good judge of character.
You are?
Yeah.
No, you really are.
Right.
I'm way better at it than I used to be because I'm focusing on myself now and I can acknowledge these things. I'm better at it than I've ever been.
Anyway.
Why do you think there's certain things that are different in my life and people that are not in my life?
True. So back to healthy relationships. So what is one or two unhealthy things that would make you walk away or like totally like throw, like you're done kind of thing?
When I'm giving you feedback on our relationship and nothing changes. If I'm trying to communicate with you on what we need to work on or what is not working and you don't change.
So then why didn't you walk
all
away
the way
from our
down.
relationship? Because you used to say all the time, I need help with you cleaning up after yourself. Stop leaving your shoes under the table.
Because in the-
Stop doing this. Stop doing this. And I didn't.
Because in the back of my mind, I knew what I signed up for when I said, get me this, get me this. You got me all those things. And I promised that I would do X, Y, and Z. Remember?
Yeah. You said,
In the
if
back
you
of my
buy a
mind.
house, I will clean. I will do everything. I'll do laundry. I'll do dishes. I'll clean the house. I'll do all of it.
And you really held me to that.
Correct.
100%.
Because don't lie to me. I made an agreement.
And that's why I sucked it up, because I remember saying, I was always like, well, I did say this, so I just have to fucking suck it
Did
up.
you remember it, or is it just because I threw it in your face all the time?
I mean, it was a little bit of both. A little bit of, eventually I just stopped asking. But that also helped me with the next moment. I was like, I genuinely enjoy all that stuff. I genuinely do. I'd rather cook with you. And it would be nice if you would just be like, you want me to help you fold that laundry? But if you would sit there and play on your phone or masturbate while you're watching Bob's Burgers or whatever the case may be.
I did not sit there and
And I'm
masturbate while
saying-
watching cartoons while you're folding laundry. That didn't happen.
I have proof.
If I was masturbating while you were doing chores, you would come over. Like you,
That's true. I'd be like, this laundry can wait.
correct.
You need help with that? And that would be all the time, even like in every relationship I've ever been in.
Okay, well, what's the second thing?
I don't know.
So you-
Cheating?
Okay.
I just really don't understand it. I cannot say that enough. I don't understand it, even though I've done it and whatever.
Yeah. But like you, like to go back to that scenario in that episode, like you did it and then ended it. Like it's not like you tried, like you knew that it was over. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you were like, oh, let's fix this, like let's whatever, because you know that was a deal breaker.
I don't like feeling like I'm wasting my time either.
Right.
Like if I'm like, this one kid is like, I don't want to have to chase you. I was like, we haven't even met yet, and this is already exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm good. Good luck. And he was like, it's like that. Yes, I'm not doing this. Like,
Right.
You're already like trying to catch me in lies, and like we're literally just talking. I'm all the way good. You're already toxic.
Right.
No thanks.
Plus, it was green bubbles, so like fuck him.
Was it?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same one?
Yes.
Not
You
the
showed
one that
me the
stalked
message.
my soul.
No, you showed me the message, and you were
Oh.
like,
And
"This
we
is
did talk about
exhausting."
that. Yeah,
Yes.
like no, I'm all the way good.
Right.
I don't care about the fucking green bubble.
No, I know,
thing.
me neither. I'm just
That's-
kidding.
you used to care real hard about that.
I mean, I do care, but like I don't care. Like I do, but I don't.
I do like to know that it's delivered, and with the green one, you can't really tell.
Right.
Well, whatever. Have you ever had a blue bubble turn green? You're like, oh my god, they hate me.
Yes.
Isn't that stressful? You're like, what did I do?
No.
I
Maybe
mean,
not
I'm just
that
kidding.
stressful.
So what about you? I know you like to be asked back the same question.
Oh, thank you.
My
You're
first-
learning.
Only 21 episodes in, and I'm finally learning to ask you back the same questions. So what are two things that'll make you walk? Like you're just like, nope, being ignored. Is that one?
Being cut off. How about that? Shut the fuck up.
Walk away, bitch. Get out. Get out.
I think like the biggest thing is like when you lose my trust, you've lost everything. Like if you lie to me about something, like I can get over it if it's like a stupid little white lie, or if it's like, whatever. Like I'm gonna be like, now I'm gonna be like looking for it at this
Mhm.
point. Like I'm gonna be on edge looking for that.
You're gonna be on edge. You're gonna be on point, and you're gonna notice every detail. That is not edge. You're just gonna be sharper.
Yes. But like if you like truly like lie to me about something, like it's done. It's over.
Like what? What was one thing you walked away from? Is there anything you like?
Yeah.
You would walk away from a lie, a relationship because of a lie?
If it was a real lie, like so if it was some sort of like cheating lie, like you're telling me like, oh, I don't need to be worried about that person, or you're telling me like, oh, I'm not out there fucking somebody and you are, like something like that.
But aren't you necessarily walking away because of the cheating, though, more than the lie?
Not necessarily, because like we talked about this on the cheating episode. Like if you were in a situation where you were totally fucking wasted, drunk, and something accidentally, quote unquote, happened, like I could potentially forgive that. Like you come up to me, like you're upset, you have remorse, you're like, oh my God, I am so sorry that this happened.
Cum is still on their forehead. You're like, I'm so sorry. He just came on my face.
You know, you show that remorse and you're willing to put in the effort. Like it's not like a complete, like it's like an 80% chance that it's over, but it's not 100% chance that it's over.
But that 20% chance is giving you that insecurity. So like that's where it's not worth it in my mind.
But it depends on what you're doing to fix it. Remember we had that whole thing about the hot sauce in the soup? Like
you can't put too much hot sauce in it. Yeah, I do remember.
So anyway,
I will never use that.
Or like, you know, if you like disrespect me and like lie to me about something, like, you know, if you disappear and you're like, oh, like this happened and blah 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 blah, but I find out that something completely different happened, like, or I catch you in a lie, like you told me one thing and I'm like, nope, I saw your car, like what do you mean, like,
that's
or
exhausting thinking about it, like just makes me cringe.
Like when you blatantly lie to me and then like try to cover it up with more lies, like, no, I'm done. Like you've lost all of my respect at that point. You know what I mean? Like own up to it. People make mistakes. Like
again,
shit happens.
Which we've also said. People make mistakes. That's why pencils have erasers.
Right.
Just own up to your shit.
Right.
Communicate. We should do an episode on communication.
We already did.
Did we?
Yes.
What was it called?
Communication.
No, it wasn't. We've never done that episode. This whole podcast has been about that. I think season 2 will have to change the name of the podcast. Communication with Ryan and Andrew. I am excited for season 2 because we're going to switch things up. It's going to be fun.
I know. We're going to have guests on it. Remember at our big gay event,
So Mike Estabrook is our first guest, right?
Not necessarily our first guest. He's a guest on season 2. He could be our first guest. It depends on timing. It depends on, you know,
because we
both have shit to do.
It's going to be tough with guest.
Why?
Scheduling wise, because like now there's 3 schedules to figure out. You and I barely had time to like find time to record.
We'll figure it out. We don't have to have a guest every episode.
True. Do we need another microphone, or can they just share one of ours?
I don't know. We're going to have to look into all of this. We're going to have to figure it out.
John, I promise you 2 channels are coming. We're going to work on that for season 2.
We got lots of things to do.
More fun events coming up too.
Yes.
Which you guys will hear about through Instagram and stuff. Because
I feel like you're trying to wrap up this episode. Like, were we done? Like, were we done the topic? Because now now all of a sudden you're talking about other shit.
I mean, I do have work, but no.
So
I'll probably sit here and chat about that.
Well, let's give some end advice on
some solicited advice.
No, this is unsolicited. Nobody asked us this question.
I know. No,
well, we would like some more questions. Like, we would love to answer more questions.
I love that shit.
There's a link on our Instagram, our link tree for you guys to send in your questions
and buy merch.
Anyway,
I love our merch.
Go ahead.
I just ordered the sweater. I can't wait to get it.
What's your last minute advice?
What do we usually call it? Why am I drawing a blank? We usually at the end are like, what are blah blah blah. Anyway, just love yourself before you love anybody else. That's what RuPaul always says.
What was the topic?
Healthy relationship.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. How to be in a healthy relationship.
Which we both truly do know about because we've been in quite a few of them. Not really, like 2.
Did I ever tell you that story? So, with my ex-boyfriend, we were...
Which one?
We were in Mexico, and we got into like this big fight. And he was saying something about like, you know, our relationship, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you have never been in a fucking healthy relationship your entire life. I know what it's like to be in a healthy relationship. You can't tell me like something like that.
Yes, you have told me that.
And then he like used that against me for like months. Like he was like, oh yeah, I know. I can't be in a healthy relationship. You're so perfect. Blah, 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 blah. Exactly.
Do you think it's him because of how he's navigating life and the choices he's making, or the kind of relationship that he wants to be in is not conducive to a relationship.
All right, there's lots of reasons, but that's not my concern anymore, so I don't care.
Yeah. It's just a shame. I don't want anybody to be like, "Ugh," through life.
Right.
Even if I hate you, I don't want you to have a bad life.
Right.
I don't hate anybody, really, if you think about it.
So anyway.
So the key to a healthy relationship is loving yourself, communicating, and sucking dick. Like, wholeheartedly. That's what made all my relationships work. And cooking. I like cooking together.
I think it's understanding. It's understanding yourself. It's understanding your partner. It's meeting the needs of the relationship. It's going to be different in every relationship. But I think that it comes down to trust, honesty, communication, love. Like, if everything is coming from a positive place, you're going to be in a good place. You know, we talk about sex, we talk about intimacy, we talk about that. Like, yes, that's really important for a relationship, but it's going to look different in each relationship. Some people are in open relationships, some people are in closed relationships, but there still always has to be that level of trust, honesty, and communication, no matter what. You know, you talk about cheating being something that's like a no-go for you. Cheating looks different for each person.
Also true.
So we can't necessarily define that for everybody. I think for any relationship, I can truly say trust, honesty, and communication. And love.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
100%. And sex. And sucking dick.
Yes.
Here I am again. No, I think we should eventually dive in. I think we said it like multiple times. Love languages. We have to do an episode on love languages.
Yeah.
Because people are not loving their partner the right way because they don't know how to.
Yep.
So I think that's where we're going to go
That's
next.
where it comes from understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. It was great.
Mm.
And we'll
Energy drink is wearing off. We'll see you next Tuesday.
see ya.